Hey everybody, welcome to my new adventure in cooking for you. This journey of all plants all the time eating that I have really enjoyed for many years, and I'm inviting you on the journey with me. My name is Jay Billig. I've been cooking since I was in junior high, and have cooked, done dinners for a few people and done dinners for events for thousands of people by helping prepare food for those. So I don't call myself a chef per se. I have earned my stripes, if you will, by time in the kitchen and by people served and people enjoying what they have been served. So I hope you get to enjoy this with me, and we'll take this invitation to heart and join me on this journey into a whole foods, plant-based experience for many, many reasons that we'll cover more in depth as we go through the series. For tonight, we have 3 recipes that I'm going to prepare. The first is a soup that is a 3-potato soup, a zesty 3-potato soup with fresh herbs. And the next is what I call a kale smash salad. So we'll go through all the steps of that with you. And then the third that I'm preparing is a chocolate mousse for dessert with fresh fruit. That is it for our menu for tonight. And I'm going to step away for just a minute and we'll get started. So I'm going to start tonight with the first ingredient of the salad, which is marinated onions, because I want them to be in the vinegar that they're going to be pickled in as long as possible. So just starting with a red onion, I'm going to slice this in rings because for this salad, it's like a nice look to see the rings in there. This works great doing these type of onions. I usually keep some in a jar, just in the pantry, because they marinate, and then put them in for as long as up to a month. You can just leave them in the vinegar in the pantry, and they just keep getting better and better. I love that about them. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to add a little bit of this is just sea salt to help with the marination, and then some apple cider vinegar. And I'm going to squish them good with my hands. Don't be afraid to use your hands in the kitchen. It is your best friend and your best tool. You can squish these a lot, you can squish them a little bit, just depending, The more you squeeze them, the more the flavor sort of gets in there. Very nice in a shorter amount of time. So that step is done. We're gonna set that aside. Wash my hands. Okay, I'm gonna start this this soup on about a medium heat. And we're just gonna get all of our ingredients into the kettle. For this, you can leave these pretty chunky, and that's why I'm gonna dice all of these. It's really for, we're just gonna cook them down, and we are gonna use a blender which will bring this into a specific consistency at the end. I've got this on about a medium heat, and what we're gonna do is let these onions caramelize. I know a lot of people are used to cooking with oil, and it's a very common thing to think that you need to use oil in order to cook, onions, for example, that it's not possible to do it any other way. We're going to start with a dry, this is a stainless pot. What will happen is that it will actually begin to caramelize the onions a little bit without the oil, and then once we get to that point, that will help us with the flavor enhancement of it. Next, as the cooking is going on, and you might need to adjust the the temperature a little bit, just as it begins to caramelize. This I'm going to cut up a little bit smaller because I don't want as big a chunks of the carrot in there at the end. More the flavor is what we're going for with this as it cooks down with this first step. Many starters for soups would be, this next ingredient would be celery. We're not using that here. We're doing it with some fennel, which is it's a very unique flavor, and I just love the combination of it with the onions. We're going to throw some garlic in there too, and how it pairs with the potatoes for its interest. And like the carrots, we're going to slice this a little bit smaller. Go ahead and chop up these stems too while we're chopping. Oh, that smells so good. We'll add those green parts in a little bit later. Got the last of that fennel in there. And now we're just going to add a few cloves of garlic to this. I like them a little bit chunky here, but you know, a smash on the board will break them down just the right amount. Garlic it is. And then let's see how we're doing on our simmer, or our saute, as it were, here with these starter ingredients. It's begun the cooking down process. And what I'm going to do is add just a little bit of water to this. And really just a couple tablespoons of water will help with the, if anything is stuck to the pan, that will remove it. For this, the heat seems about right, and I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on so it can steam in there, and just let that do its thing while I chop up all these beautiful potatoes. And for the potatoes, really just about a 1/2 inch size is what we're going for. We're going to leave all the peels in there with this particular soup. They're good, full of lots of great nutrients in the peels. Yeah, these aren't necessarily about the specific shape of it, but more about the size of the dice that you're putting in, so they all cook consistently. And what we're putting in here, the 3 potatoes that we're using for this recipe are white russet, and then there's a red potato plus white sweet potato. So that's one of the sneaky ingredient. Sweet potatoes have a very, very credible nutritional content. That's something that you can eat pretty much every day, is sweet potatoes without any reservation. Thinking that carbs are your enemy is a big fallacy, and certainly it's not the way that when you're eating a whole foods plant-based diet, you're eating a lot of carbs, as you can see from what we're putting in this dish. They're really your friend. They're going to fill up your system, and they're just packed with all kinds of nutritional value, and yeah, the combination of them, plus the fiber that you get from them as well. Let me go ahead and stick these in first. I think that's probably ready for them. That was the right amount of water that I put in there, about a couple tablespoons before. And yeah, again, if this was sticking to the bottom, You can add a little bit more water to release it. And anytime you do that, you're just releasing more flavor into the soup. So it's a good thing. So the regular potatoes are going to take a little bit longer to cook than the sweet potato. So I'm going to throw those in and get them into the mix as part of this, as part of our sweet potato soup. Look at that beauty. There are many, I don't even know how many, different varieties of sweet potatoes that grow all over the world. Literally thousands of varieties of them. This happens to be a white on the inside and with a red skin on the outside. Most common you will find at the grocery store, you'll find the ones that are orange or red on the outside and then orange on the inside. But yeah, there are even some standard grocery stores are now starting to carry a variety of different sweet potatoes, which is a great thing. So you can find a variety of them all over the place. Yeah, as you can see, this is not a perfect dicing. If I was doing these for some other display purpose, it would be a very different chop. This is just efficiency, getting them chopped up, and now getting them in the soup. Again, I'm going to check on the water content on the bottom. Still good on that. And time for the sweet potatoes. Wow, does that smell good. The combination of the fennel and onion. I hope you guys mouths are watering here that are helping me with this. On this, I am going to add a little bit more water, maybe another 1/4 cup or so, just to make sure those have something to not stick on the bottom with. And then it's okay at this point, on this one anyway, I'm going to turn this up just a little bit, up to about a medium-high, and again with the lid on. The next thing that we're going to add to the soup, once this is cooked a little bit, and we're going to let that sort of steam there, we're going to come back and build the broth. So I'm going to take a pause here and be right back. Hey, I'm back. I wanted to, while I was away, what I did is I added more water to the soup kettle and got that completely boiling. So it just covered all of it in this kettle with the amount of things that I put in. I added about 6 cups of water. And then what I'm going to add now, one of the last ingredients that's going to go in, is some nutritional yeast. And that is it's an ingredient, some people or my kids used to call it cheesy stuff, that's what we nicknamed it, but it adds a rich flavor. It's good for bringing that in, and pretty much anything that you put it in, it's used in a lot of other broths when they are made to bring out the flavor and give it that brothy flavor that you want. So I'm going to add to this now about 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast. Another thing that is a common and it's a very necessary thing with people who are all plant-based is getting enough vitamin B12. And so for me personally, I happen to get that from nutritional yeast that is fortified with vitamin B12. If you're not getting it, it comes only from animal sources. Technically, it comes from the ground and there used to be a lot more of it when you had dirt on your vegetables or getting those things. People would get it that way. But now really having a supplement and making sure that you're getting enough B12 is very, very important. So for me personally, as I said, nutritional yeast is my best friend. It's fortified, the one that I get with B12 and other vitamins, and it adds great flavor. So I added that in. I'm just gonna mix this up, let the soup simmer. I had it up on high as it was getting up to a boil, and now I've got it down on about medium heat or medium low heat. 4 out of 9 on this cooktop. One of my favorite tools is the silicone spatulas that also is a spoon shape. So next we're going to work on assembling our salad. So to start with that, the first ingredient that's going to go in is the kale. So this kale has been, I cheat, it was pre-washed. I bought it at the store that way. And then I just take out all the stems and make sure that it's in little bite-sized pieces. So that's pretty much it on the kale. It's not a cheat. I'm all about doing what works for you. So for me personally, I don't really like cleaning kale, though I will do it. It's not that hard to do, but it is very easy and convenient since it is available all over at the grocery store to get it that way already prepared. And I eat a lot of kale, so it makes my life very simple. So hopefully this way of cooking is also a simplification for you as we move through this whole series. And next with the kale, I'm going to add a little bit. This was about a pound of kale that was prepared. And then I'm going to add a little bit of salt and maybe a teaspoon or so. And then we're just going to go in and massage it. And you can do this without salt. I just happen to add a little bit of salt for this recipe. The massage works either way. So I'm going to do this for a little while. I'm going to take it down to about half the volume that we started with. Half the volume is what I'm doing for this particular salad, but you can take it down even further, where you can massage it almost down to a kale paste, depending on what you're using it for. There are many different ways to incorporate kale and other dark leafy greens into your diet. Very, very important sources of nutrients across the board, and in my opinion, super delicious too. I absolutely love the flavor of them. So that is, we're down about halfway. Next, I'm going to add the onions that have been patiently marinating over on the side. And again, you can marinate these for as long as you want. I'm going to just grab them out of the vinegar for now, and we're going to add that vinegar back in a minute with the next ingredient. So next to this, I'm going to add 2 avocados, and these are about a medium ripeness. You can do this with you can do this with many different levels of ripeness. These are about a medium. Or hopefully I got the right ripeness. Seems like I did on that one anyway, for what I'm going for. Again, super easy. We like to keep things easy. You don't need to bother with a knife. I just use a spoon to cut this into, chunks. And you can see here I've got the apples and some red bell pepper that I have diced up. The red bell pepper into fairly small little bites, and the apples into about 1/2 inch sized chunks. So we're going to do that same size, about 1/2 inch, on the avocado. You can actually make guacamole in a skin of an avocado. It's kind of a fun little experiment to try. If you have never tried making guacamole in the skin of an avocado, give it a shot and see if you can figure out how to do that. For this amount of kale, as I said, about a pound of the kale, I'm putting in 2 whole avocados. I wasn't really planning on having avocado mash on the cutting board, but that's okay. It's still gonna work. And then to this, I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. I'm gonna put in all of the vinegar that had the onions marinated in them. So this is flavored with those red onions. And I'm gonna do a generous dose of black pepper. So for this, and this is like a medium grind black pepper. For me, I happen to like a lot of black pepper, so I'm gonna put in, a good amount. For you, whatever your flavor preference is, And then again, we're going to massage the avocados into the kale. So what this does is it utilizes the avocado to actually create a dressing. So we're combining the avocado with the pickled onions and the vinegar from it. And you can do this very, with a lot of avocado. It's they're so delicious. So as I massage this, I'm just breaking down the avocado into this. And no, it doesn't really turn into a complete mess because the kale all is still holding together. So I previously reduced the kale down, as I said, by about half in volume. This is going to take it down overall to about a third of what we started with volume-wise for this particular salad. And then the magic of this is I'm going to add the peppers, which are completely sweet. There's no hotness to them. And the apples, and you can use any other fruit too. This works well with pomegranates if they're in season. It works well with pretty much any fruit. The little mandarin oranges, you can throw those in instead of the apples. I just happen to get it's summer and apples happen to be fresh in season. Often I would get these the ingredients, whatever I'm using, at the farmer's market. And that's another beautiful way to have a connection to your food and to what you're eating, what you're putting into your body, is to know where it grew, to know who grew it, and to have a personal relationship with them so that you can, it's like a connection to our food that most people have completely lost. We're so used to just, opening a package or going through the drive-through and picking up whatever's most convenient. This way of eating, this way of really reformulating ourselves to eating very consciously, so we're aware of what we're putting into our body and what we're putting into the world by the choices that we make as we put those things into our body. So speaking of putting things in, I'm going to put these apples, as I was going off on a little philosophical rant. I'm going to put these apples and peppers into the salad and just mix it right up. That was another example of keeping it simple. I had set aside a bowl to put these things in, another bowl that I was going to be dirtied as part of this recipe, and I decided, no, I'm just gonna leave them on the board so people can see that I chopped them and just keep it simple, Reduce the things that you need to do to, as you're cooking, to keep it simple for you so that your whole process is simple. Is it a simple process to do the cooking? Is it a simple process to clean up? And all of it, There we have our kale smash salad. I'm going to add one more sprinkling of black pepper on top of this. You can, if it needs more liquid or the dressing, this one seems to be about right on the dressing, so I don't need to add more vinegar to it. But you could add more vinegar. It's here on the side. Or you can also, if it needs more liquid or you want more of a dressing to it, you can add a little bit of water to it, and that will suffice very easily with the avocado in the salad. So for me personally, I like things a little bit spicy, so I put a generous dose of red chili flakes in this particular salad. I'm going to leave those off today, because you never know with those who are tasting this if they want that or not. So I'm going to leave those on the side, and you can do that the same for yourself or your guests. So that is our kale smash salad. So that soup has been simmering now a good amount of time, just until the vegetables are completely squishy enough. And then we're going to use a plunge blender and blend this up a little bit, get some of that flavor mixed together. If you want it completely smooth, you can put it in another blender, or if you do it that way. This particular way, I'll blend it a little bit and then have some of the chunks in there. but this blender helps break down the potatoes so they become part of the soup flavor and the texture of it, the creamy texture of the soup. I'm gonna step off camera, get this blended, and be right back. Hey, we are back for a little dessert tonight. So I'm making a chocolate mousse. So we're starting with frozen bananas. Very important that they be frozen. I put them in the freezer this morning, so they've been in for a few hours. And the size is, little chunks. Definitely best in, a fairly small chunk size. Works best for this recipe. And I'm going to fill up the bowl of this food processor, maybe about halfway full. Get a little as we chop it up. Yes, so now that it is a smaller size, I'm going to go ahead and add. That was about 2 bananas, 2 medium-sized bananas, and I'm going to add just a little splash of vanilla. Not even a half a teaspoon of vanilla, just for flavor. And I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of cacao, and this is pure cacao, 100% cacao powder. And it is best to get cacao powder that is super finely ground, and it will make this a super fine recipe, and for other things too. But yeah, that's about a 1/4 cup of the cacao. I'm going to put this back together. Yeah, just checking to make sure. And then you just blend it. This works with a blender too. I'm using this small food processor to do it, but just blend it until it is smooth. Yeah, we did. Oh yeah. I guess that's telling me it's done. So there we have it. I'm just gonna get this all set up for you so you can see what we're eating. Give me just a minute and I'll be right back with the whole thing for you. Hey, we are back with the final step here, and that is getting to eat. So we started with the 3 potato soup. I'm gonna go ahead and top that with just a little bit of fresh herbs. These are some Italian parsley and a tiny bit of cilantro, and with some rye, sourdough rye crackers. And the salad, our kale smash salad, as I said, with lots of red pepper flakes for me. That's how I did it. So that's all set and ready to go. And then for dessert, our banana cacao mousse, served with fresh blueberries, blackberries, and a little crumble on top of some toasted coconut. So there you have it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for beginning this journey of a plant-based living and life. And you can find me on Instagram. J_Billig is how I am found. That's JAY_BILLIG. So that is it. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you next time when I dive in and we explore deeper. I'll just give you a teaser on the dessert, more chocolate. Next time I plan to make some chocolate truffles. So that will be part of the dessert offering the next time, and I look forward to seeing you then. Until then, be well.